Hello everyone, welcome back. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm also the author of Money Boxing. Okay, so reading your emails and questions. And why is David Haye referred to as an ambush predator? All right, let's do a diagnosis. He's obviously top 5 heavyweight. Any talk about the post-Klitschko era and David Haye's name instantly comes up. So we should address him. I know where you're getting ambush predator right now. I read the emails about this. Recently, someone who does what I do with video clips, Dwyer at gamblersadvisory.com, who I recommend you listening to. I follow Dwyer's work. Talked about David Haye and said ambush predator. Well, as anyone who's developing into a tout knows, or a solid sports investor, they know that you're only as good as your language. In any craft, in any skill, you're only as good as knowing the terms. And so he referred to, I got 2 of them in the same email. Lumberjack, we'll save for another time. Let's talk about David Haye. If something is an ambush predator, a term we get from the world of nature, we can envision 2 types of ambush predator. Now, ambush is obviously to attack something from surprise, where it lays in wait for its prey or its quarry. There are 2 different ways it can go about. You can have a stationary ambush predator, say out in front of a hole in the ground, maybe a large spider or a snake just waits for something to come by so it can take it. Then you have maybe a mobile ambush predator who moves around, say in the jungle, in the wild, the jaguar, and then it finds its place, and then it waits for what it's going after to get closer to it before it takes it out. In either event, whether it's mobile or stationary, it's waiting, and if it's waiting for something to fire first, if its inner tendency is to wait for something to catch up to it and then to attack, what are we talking about? We're talking about something that counters. We have a mobile counterpuncher, we have a stationary counterpuncher. Now, when we talk about David Haye, there is a massive misdiagnosis. He's getting ready right now in circa 2013 to face Manuel Charr, who challenged Vitaly Klitschko not too long ago for what some people, including Dwyer, consider the legitimate World Heavyweight Championship. And so we're going to have a little talk about him. David Haye is not a puncher. Puncher that's a tendency. When most people say it's a puncher, you're talking about somebody who basically relies upon the finish. They're an offensive machine. Haye is moving backward. He's giving fake targets. He's circling around. He's looking for someone to fire so he can fire his shots in at the same time. And this misdiagnosis is something that plagues a lot of sports investors. A lot of people who would make money misdiagnose these guys. He's a mobile counterpuncher. He moves around, and like a lot of them, when he gets when he's not punching, he rarely gets hit with anything. I mean even a jab, he rarely gets hit with anything. Except against Vladimir Klitschko. And what happens for a lot of these guys is when they open up, they fire with so much velocity, so much power, moving their body into the attack, and you'll see Haye jump his way in, that he will move his way into other shots, and that's when you double the power of a punch coming in at you, is when you move your body into it. So his ability to absorb a punch when he's moving away is very good. When he's firing, he's so focused on his offensive tendencies that while he's punching, he sometimes holds his head up, and he very frequently will get hit while he is punching, because that's just the tendency he has. And when you talk about David Haye, you're looking at for point of illustration, I'd say the closest example that we have to him is Nassim Hamed, who is also from the UK, also had tremendous power, very unorthodox angles. These we're talking about two true world-class athletes. And when Dwyer, who was talking about the match, I think we'll just include the link probably to that. If not, look up gamblersadvisory.com, David Haye versus Manuel Charr. He received, as you commented, a number of people who disagreed about his assessment of the match. And why would he make an assessment that so many people disagreed with? Because it's his opinion. It's his opinion, and a lot of people listen to his opinion. You don't always have to agree. A lot of people are saying, now wait a minute, Charr was very easy to hit, and he's saying that even against Vitaly Klitschko, he's firing back, and there's this disconnect. Well, what you have to realize is that as a professional, Dwyer knows, and he has it in his mind, that there's a difference between someone punching and hitting someone as opposed to getting to them with effective shots. And his point with Manuel Charr versus Vitaly Klitschko is that for the most part, he believes that although Klitschko was landing, that he was unable to land a lot of effective shots on Charr. And when you speak about David Haye, you have to speak about his mental capacity. You know, people who have great power, whether it's Thomas Hearns or David Haye, they psychologically have to believe in that power. It's not just, when you have great power, it's not just an attribute like a certain type of speed or how you perform a certain race. They get their identity into that. That's how great punchers think. And David Haye it reminds me a lot of a racehorse. And when you're confused his mind, you really confuse his game. And that's the point that a lot of people are thinking about with Haye. They're saying, you know, if this is somebody that you put pressure on, he will fold. It's called Punter Syndrome. At least I call it Punter Syndrome, and I refer to it in money boxing as that. A lot of people like George Foreman, you know, they'll do really well with their power, and then when things don't go their way, they'll fall apart. And a lot of people say that David Haye may be the most naturally gifted fighter in the heavyweight division. He's the hardest hitting fighter, I believe, in the heavyweight division. Former undisputed cruiserweight champion. But if someone can stand up to him, he may just collapse. He may just fold. And when he faced Vladimir Klitschko, boy, he didn't go out of second gear. Once or twice around, it'd fire some goofy outward long-range punch. But for the most part, once he got in the ring and began playing that perimeter game, boxer versus a counterpuncher is never a good game for the counterpuncher. He just stopped fighting. He did that. So when someone like Dwyer is saying that Charr is going to continue to be a problem, what he means is that Charr has displayed the tendency and will display it or could display it against David Haye to take what he has and to jump on him and fire back. And can he hold up to it? Can David Haye psychologically withstand it? You know, it's an interesting question. So yeah, Charr gets hit a lot, but other than what Dwyer considered a flash knockdown, he really, really didn't absorb a lot of punishment. So it is going to be a compelling match to watch. And when you talk about character versus gifts, no one in the heavyweight division, maybe as far as, you know, now that Roy Jones isn't at his peak, maybe there is no more talented fighter in boxing physically than David Haye. But if he doesn't have what it takes to go in and say, I have to take 2 to land 1, I have to take 3 to land 1, he's not going to get where he needs to go. And ultimately, does he deserve a shot against Vladimir Klitschko? No. Does he deserve one against Vitaly Klitschko? No. And his power, you know, he might be able to land effectively against the older brother. But that guy took Lennox Lewis's shots. I'm pretty sure he can take David Haye's. So Haye is not fighting regularly, long layoffs. And if he wants to champion the division, you'll see him fighting 3-4 times a year against top 12, top 15 opposition consistently. Until that happens, he's just relying on being the most entertaining within the ropes fighter that there is. And he's not that small, folks. He's not any smaller than Muhammad Ali was at his peak, or Larry Holmes, or Evander Holyfield. And I'd like to see him as a heavyweight champion. But please don't misdiagnose him and say he is a puncher. Puncher, that's his tendency. His tendency is to load up, but it's within the style of being a mobile counterpuncher. He's always going to be vulnerable to perimeter fighters, and he's always going to look great against people who press him, who are slower than he is. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm Christian Shreve, and I'm here to tell you about why I think you should own my new book, Money Boxing, which is on sale now. Money Boxing has something for everyone, whether or not you know anything about boxing. You're about to receive a backstage pass into a world of glamour, corruption, and intrigue. And you're going to learn about the system, which is the only thing the casinos have had to fear in a long time. You can own Money Boxing by clicking on the link below now. I think you'll like it.